Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 11 kilometers per second. And I want to thank you once again for joining me and giving me your precious time. This is part three of the three-part series that I'm doing on work. And when I left off on the second part, if you haven't watched it, please do. You don't have to watch it to understand this part, but I think it's an important thing to watch if you want to understand the whole concept of work as I try to explain and define it. So today I want to talk about what it takes to succeed. And when I left off in the second episode or second part, I was I was making fun of people who, decide not to do anything, decide not to build their craftsmanship, and then in 10 years, you're still going to be talking about the same thing, soft life and all this other stuff, and not willing to do the work and build the craftsmanship. And I started out saying, I finished by saying, you know what, this is, I am making fun, but that's not even the way that you should be doing it. I shouldn't be making fun, or no, I was making fun and saying, okay, look for where you're going to be, the gains that you're going to make and the ability to be in a position where you've got the homes and all this other stuff, and you've got the cars, and now you're balling out of control and all this other stuff. And that is not what you should do. That is the cheapest and easiest form of motivation. It is the one that is going to burn out the quickest because shit gets hard. Okay, I'm going to show you a graph that is called the emotional change cycle. This graph was created by Don Carner and Daryl Kelly, and it describes the different stages that you go through when you're going through change. The different stages of emotions that people go through when they're going to change. And this is the case whenever you're trying to build anything. And so the first stage is, you start to get into something and you have optimism. And truth be told, this is where most of us are. Especially in our community, right? It's not that we're not willing to try. We have a lot of folks. First of all, let's be clear. We are a people. We are hustlers. People say we're a people that are entrepreneurs. No, there's a difference between a hustler and an entrepreneur. A hustler is someone who, does what is necessary to get the money to pay the bills or to have fun. An entrepreneur is somebody who puts a structure in place, who takes feedback from the market and grows the business and scales the business to a certain point where they're not just paying the bills, from my opinion. Or at the very least, they're consistent enough. Like, you could just be paying the bills. That's not true. There's a lifestyle entrepreneur, but they're consistent enough that they're not just jumping from one thing to another. They to hustle and make money, but they're consistently making money off of whatever it is that they're buying and selling, and not just jumping from one thing to another. So I think, by our very nature, our need to survive, our community have been hustlers, and we need to become entrepreneurs, where, like I said, you're consistently, you found a way to consistently, sell a product or a service. And so I think we're by nature hustlers. Not by nature, sorry. We are by circumstance hustlers, because we have to figure out how to get it done. We have to figure out how to survive. We're survivors. And so what happens is, as you're going through this change that you see here, you start out with an idea. It's like, wow, I'm excited about this idea. I think I'm going to be the next billionaire. It's going to work. I know it. Like, this is so innovative. I've seen other people run through it, and this is what's missing and all this other stuff. We have all these ideas. We do the research and we're excited. We're telling everybody about it. We're asking for money from friends, family, and fools. It's like, yes, optimism. Then we jump into the work, and eventually and we see that stuff is not working. Wait, where is the money? Why aren't people coming and buying? This idea is so great. what is going on? And, I've got to hire people, and people are bad at their jobs, and, they're taking money, and something happened, and, we have to go and pay for equipment, and this thing broke down and whatever. It's like, oh my God. And then I got pressures from work, and I'm supposed to have money, not work, but like from family, and I'm supposed to have money. And now the pessimism comes in. And so that brings the second stage, because now you're informed about what it takes. And so the second stage is informed pessimism, right? Now you know that this shit is hard. Okay. And you're like, okay, I'm going to endure a little bit. And then you get to the point of the third stage, and that is the valley of despair. This is where most people fail. This is the graveyard of most businesses. This is the graveyard of most aspirations. This is the graveyard of your potential. You think it's supposed to be easy. If it was, you would not be the hero that you aspire to. Easy is picking up a pebble. That person is not strong. Hard is picking up a boulder. That's strength. You do not become the person you envision if you do not get hard. And so most people will fail in the valley of despair. And what you need to do is endure enough to get to the next stage, which is informed optimism. Because now you're learned, you have gone through and figured out what's working. Now you're like, okay, I think I can get this done. You're informed about what works. Now you're optimistic about it. That's where the money starts to come in. And the reason why we stop at the valley of despair is because you're thinking about balling out of control. And when the balling out of control has not happened, you drop. Because and this is actually the issue with me. Like at every point, it's like, where's the money supposed to be here? The money's supposed to be here. Next idea. Money's supposed to be here. Money's supposed to be here. Next idea. Money's supposed to be here. Next idea. And this is like, so I got this, I've seen this chart before, but it was recently, shown in this, group that I'm part of, a family that I'm a part of. It's Push. It's done by Dion Dalton. And he put this out in our group, and I was reminded of it. And, part of what we do in this group is wake up at 5 and work. We get on a Zoom and everybody's working on whatever it is their goals are. And, we chat with one another so that this lonely road is not as lonely. The lonely road of entrepreneurship and the road to success is not as lonely. So we get off and we do this. It's an accountability group. So weekly we meet. We talk about the things that we said we were going to do and hold each other accountable for doing it and not doing it. And one of the issues that I had, because I wanted to be productive and be consistent, is to wake up every day at 4. Because I could not justify why I would do it. Because yes, there was work to be done. But there's always work to be done. You're never actually really finished. And so most of the times we're thinking about what is urgent at the moment. And if it's urgent, then I'll get up and get the freaking thing done. In fact, one of the things that we do is we procrastinate until it's because it's not urgent, so we don't get it done. And it's now when it's due tomorrow, it's now I gotta get up and do all the work, because now there's the motivation for us to do it, as opposed to the discipline of consistently doing the work at a time. And so for me, it's yeah, I could get up and do it, but it's not necessarily urgent, so I'll just leave it until it happens. And so I could not justify getting up at 4 every day until I had that mindset shift. As I was thinking about, it was a chapter in a book that I'd read, and that we are reading. It's called Atomic Habits. And, as I was thinking about how to create habits by essentially substituting something that does not give me the dopamine hit with something that does, that would allow me to be productive, I realized that, sometimes you just can't get that dopamine hit because growth is in the tough parts. Growth happens because because of pain. Because again, if we go back to our idea of pain being something that your body is not used to, that doesn't give you automatic pleasure, if you are growing, you're not used to it, right? That's by definition. This is why you have to embrace feeling discomfort. This is why you have to embrace feeling out of place. By definition, you're going to grow because this is not something that you already know. Your body is not used to it. So growth happens when you're not comfortable. And so if that is the case, sometimes you just can't get that dopamine hit because the intention is that you have to get to the other side. Like I talked about in the first video, walking in and of itself is work. But when we were learning it, whatever it is that we were intrigued enough about and that we wanted at the other side of that, the living room was enough for us to be like, I'm going to try to get there, to get it. First crawling even to go and get that thing. And so like you have to go and do the work and experience the pain to grow to get the thing that you want. The issue is that the thing that we want is often some kind of something that will boost our ego. And if you aren't getting that boosted ego, for a lot of us, there are a lot of people who are truly motivated by different things. It's like, yo, I need this thing so bad. I have my, I need to, put my mother in a home, or somebody told me I was never going to be anything. And that motivates them enough that every day they get up and they think about that. And it's like, what, I gotta show you. There are a lot of people who can get that, and they will go through the valley of despair with that because, it was that desire is enough for them to go through that pain. A lot of those same people, once they get their, whatever it is that was motivating them, they become disenchanted. It's disappointed. It's like, this was what I was looking for. Like, they become miserable. Adesanya talks about this. It's like when he won, he became depressed afterwards. It's like, this is it. It's nothing. And, it's like, this is what I was working for. To a lot of people, because the idea is, first and foremost, like the pursuit in and of itself is what is actually creating that excitement. I'm going after something. Once you've beaten the game, once you beat Mario, it's like, okay, what now? What's the next thing that I want to do? But it's also like, if that was the thing motivating you, what do you have left? Which is different if what you're doing is pursuing the person you want to be. And that was something that, didn't necessarily resonate with me, and it may not necessarily resonate with you. Because what the hell does that mean? Like, the person I want to be. This is so, like, just trite, and people say all that kind of crap. But like, let's think about this. When you think of yourself and you think about the people you admire, the people who have shown grit, the heroes, because we all see ourselves as the main character in our movie, right? And so when you're in your movie and you're thinking about, and you sit down, you're fantasizing about playing the role of a hero or getting to a position where people are clapping for you, thousands of people are clapping for you and all that good stuff. When you think of that person who is not just picking up a pebble, but like hurling boulders around, that person that the persona that person is, that person that you see yourself as, or as that you want to be, you have to think about what those people go through that make them admirable. They do hard shit. And so when you have decided to pursue becoming this person, it's an ongoing thing. You have to constantly do those types of things. And it's much better when you have become them, when you feel like you're doing the things, they now become your habit. You've done the things that they do long enough that you're now a different person. Let's be clear. Not like you can wake up, like I can wake up at noon. Like when I was in college, I can go to sleep and wake up at noon, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. Right? That's something that I could do, but without even an effort, I'll be up at 9 because I became a different person. And it's not even an issue for me anymore. There's a lot of things that you do, that I do now, that probably was tough before because I am a different person than I was before. So the idea is the hero that you see yourself as, that you aspire to be, and that ultimately you can become is from doing the shit that is tough. And that should be your aim. You will go through the valley of despair and become triumphant. You'll go through on the other side and have informed optimism and look back and get that feeling of accomplishment that I talked about in the first video. I go work out every day. It was I grew up athletic and did a whole bunch of different things when I was young. And there was a whole period, in our lives that a lot of us go through. It's like, oh, we don't have to do that anymore. We're older, and all this other stuff. But I can tell you that after this period, around when I was around 39, I'm like, yo, I'm getting older. I'm not getting younger. Like, I need to get this. So about 5 years now, I've been doing intermittent fasting and working out. And I can tell you that I am a different person than the person who didn't do those sorts of things. And it's much easier for me to do it. And that is the goal in of itself. It's not about whether or not you ball out of control. It's not about whether or not you actually become super wealthy. Although my feeling is that if that is your aim and you're consistently learning from the feedback and applying what you've learned to the feedback, I don't think there's a way for it not to happen. But that's not even the point. The point is, can you have self-respect? Can you, at the end of the day, look at yourself and feel good, feel accomplished about what you've done? When you get to that state, I promise you, like when you get to the state where you recognize, okay, I feel good about that day. It doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days, but I can tell you that for the most part, you'll be a happy person. So that's what it's going to take. That's what work is all about. This ends the 3-part series. I hope this was of value to you, and I hope to see you on the other side. All right. Bye.